A new Omaha nonprofit organization is asking the public to help raise funds in the fight against a deadly disease. I'm Alejandra Cortez.
And 2 UNO student athletes will be representing more than just their school colors now that they've been selected to the 2017 U.S. Men's 23 World Championship team. I'm Jared Kennedy.
All this and more right now on the brand new edition of the Omaha News.
From the studios of UNO Television, this is the Omaha News, presented by UNO School of Communication.
Thank you so much for joining us. New this hour, the owner of Salt 88, John Horvatinovich, has been found not guilty. Horvatinovich was facing an obstruction of justice charge because of a tweet he sent out back on August 13th. After 2 teens attempted to purchase alcohol in his restaurant, he tweeted out an image of them with a warning to other Omaha restaurant and bar owners. Defense counsel argued the tweet was not an obstruction of justice, but was written as a public service announcement to other business owners, reminding them to check IDs. After deliberating for 2.5 hours yesterday and another half hour this morning, the jury has found Horvatinovich not guilty.
And now, the latest on the looming valuation hikes that are causing a lot of concern for Douglas County property owners. County Assessor Diane Battiato appeared before the county board Tuesday night, saying that while she is determined to reduce many of the 2017 preliminary valuation hikes, the board's non-binding resolution of a 3% cap is unfeasible based on the state mandates. Battiato said she is currently looking at 2 options in order to ease the burden for taxpayers. One is to match the state minimum 92% market value. The other is to make valuations 93.5% of the market value. If the assessor's office targets the 93.5 figure, many West Omahans could be looking at a 14% increase this year. Battiato is required to submit this year's valuation to the state by the end of next month.
According to a study by U.S. News and World Report, Omaha is among the top 25 best cities to live in the United States. To make the top of the list, each city had to have a good value, be a desirable place to live, have a strong job market, and a high quality of life. Strong performances in things like salary, cost of living, crime, education, and health care helped Omaha crack the top 25.
2 Omaha men have just launched a nonprofit organization to help people with cystic fibrosis pay for medical costs and everyday expenses. Right now, New Hope for Lungs is in the first few hours of a 48-hour fundraiser. Tierra Sheree has more on the effects of cystic fibrosis and how you can help.
It's a genetic disorder, sometimes referred to as 65 roses, that affects roughly 30,000 Americans.
I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis when I was 6 weeks old.
Cystic fibrosis primarily affects the lungs, and many need a transplant in order to survive.
Well, about 2010, I got my lung transplant.
He says these treatments are costly.
Somebody with cystic fibrosis going through a double lung transplant is about $800,000 worth of expenses.
That's why he and Tim Davis recently started a nonprofit organization aimed at helping those on the transplant list and those 3 years post-transplant.
We assist them by helping them with medical costs, transportation costs if need be, as well as in the future we hope to offer relocation help for those who need to get relocated closer to the transplant hospital.
Operating fully online, New Hope for Lungs is launching a fundraiser for the next 48 hours to help those in need of immediate medical help.
Anything to lift the burden.
In the past few days, New Hope for Lungs has had cystic fibrosis patients from all over the country reach out and express their need for help.
Everybody that's diagnosed tends to have different problems or issues or organs.
So the organization is asking the community for a donation worth the price of a cup of coffee to help save a life. For the Omaha News, I'm Tierra Sheree.
To give a donation, visit newhopeforlungs.org. In addition to donations from the public, an anonymous donor has pledged to match the first $250 raised.
State Senator Joni Craighead of District 6 has proposed Legislative Bill 195, which would require healthcare facilities performing mammography to include information about the presence of dense breast tissue in their patient summary reports. Dense breast tissue is very common in women and has been known to obscure the results. Reporter Jose Rodriguez investigated the relationship between dense breast tissue, mammograms, and breast cancer.
About 50% of mammography patients have dense breast tissue.
You can have a cancer that is not detectable by a mammogram, particularly when the mammogram shows a very dense breast pattern.
The mammograms on women without dense breast tissue have major chances of finding possible cancers.
If you have a very black breast on x-ray, then we'll be able to see the cancer, which is a white ball, very easily.
This is why 20% of women with papillary lumps cannot be seen on a mammogram due to dense breast tissue, which also appears white.
You still have to pursue the lump with an ultrasound or with a biopsy to exclude the likelihood that she has cancers.
New technologies are being used in order to achieve better screenings and diagnostics.
An MRI of the breast is a machine that uses magnetic energy to see the body.
Such technology is one of the most sensitive to find invasive cancers joining ultrasound. However, a mammogram is always needed.
Mammography still finds the smallest of all cancers, and those are rarely seen on ultrasound.
To understand what measures to take regarding mammograms and the early detection of breast cancer, knowing your family cancer background, age factors, and whether or not you have dense breast tissue can be of much help, since all these factors play a role in breast cancer. For the Omaha News, I'm Jose Rodriguez.
Doctors suggest requesting more information about dense breast tissue and possibly exploring other screening options that are available. Those who have family history of cancer should be even more cautious due to the higher risk factor.
A longtime UNO professor and director of the Schwab Center for Jewish and Middle East Studies has died. Dr. Moshe Gershevich came to UNO in 2001 and was a professor in the history department. As director of the Schwab Center, he organized and participated in many seminars and events that discussed the relationship between Israel and Palestinian Muslims. He was a regular panelist on the monthly Middle East forums held at UNO. For many years, he led the Smithsonian tours to Morocco. Gershevich was born and raised in Israel. He studied at the Tel Aviv University and earned his PhD at Harvard. Gershevich was diagnosed with cancer in 2015.
Coming up later in our program, Valentine's Day is approaching fast. Need some ideas about what to do for that special person in your life?
But after the break, we'll first take a look at how two members of this year's UNO men's wheelchair basketball team are going international. Please stay tuned.
I have no idea where I'm at right now. I just really need some help.
Do you need some help?
Yeah.
Okay, library is here.
I heard the word help.
Yeah.
Student ambassadors are here to give a helping hand to anyone on campus. We're also your one-stop stop for tours of UNO's campuses and providing new student orientation so you can register for classes. Find us in the Welcome Center located next to the Weber Fine Arts Building.
The UNO TV team teaches students the skills they need to take professional jobs in the Omaha community. Through paid positions, students build their skills in lighting, audio, camera work, and other essential control room operations. Programs air locally on TKN and statewide on NHE World. UNO Television, student crew, professional staff, award-winning results.
The Library Cafe at UNO's Chris Library is the ideal spot to stop in and grab a bite to eat. Order a hot cup of coffee or other drinks. Chat with friends or study.
This is the Omaha News.
When Jeremy Meyer was struck by a drunk driver as a child, he may have thought his future as an athlete was gone. He couldn't have known then that one day he would represent his country on the basketball court. Being part of a team and dedicating yourself to a sport is something many in the disabled community do not get to experience. This year, the University of Nebraska at Omaha offers an exciting new way for disabled individuals to be more active and be part of something. Its very own wheelchair basketball team. Two of UNO's wheelchair basketball players now represent the United States on the world stage. Brent Regier and Jeremy Meyer were selected late last year for the 2017 Men's U23 World Championship basketball team and have already traveled to Argentina for a game.
It's fun to represent more than just your college or yourself. I mean, I'm representing a whole country when we go places and compete.
Since we qualified, we go to Worlds in Canada this summer to compete for the World Championships against like a couple other countries. I want to say like 6 or 7 other countries will be there.
While most college students can be found in bed at 6 a.m. on the weekdays, the UNO wheelchair basketball team can be found at the Hyper Building on UNO's campus, grinding it out. Mike Colt is the Associate Director of Facilities at UNO and the head coach of the team.
Shows you can become part of a team. You can work for a goal. You can work hard. And it allows the student to see what they can do and not what they can't do.
Colt says participating in wheelchair basketball and other parasports makes a big difference in a disabled person's life, with as many as 90% of wheelchair basketball players obtaining gainful employment. You can support the UNO wheelchair basketball team the first weekend in March by attending their first at-home doubleheader at the Physical Education Building on UNO's campus. The UNO men's hockey team will be taking home ice this weekend when they face off the NCHC rival Western Michigan. The third-place Broncos are currently 4 games behind first-place Minnesota Duluth, and the Mavs, who are currently in 5th place, have a tough road to finish the season. After this weekend, they play at North Dakota at the end of the month and to round out the regular season at home against Denver. If you can't make it to Baxter Live, coverage of the game will be heard on matradio.fm. Puck drops at 7:07 both Friday and Saturday night. Coming up next, with Valentine's Day right around the corner, love is in the air. And we have some ideas on how you might spice up this year's holiday. Please stay with us.
Watch ICU Learning English on the Knowledge Network.
A little bit about how you're feeling right now. One thing you would like our viewers to know about this state.
The importance of volunteerism.
What are you saying to folks?
I'm here to discuss these images.
When you can take that knowledge and that expertise and that passion in terms that they're all going to understand.
They need to know the real stories.
I'm Kathy Wyatt. Join us for Consider This each week on NET1.
Just feel a sense of camaraderie with fellow veterans, whether they're young, old, from different branches. You know, students are able to exchange their, their military history and also feel a sense of community here on campus, as well as we do have a quiet study area and a computer lounge with free printing, and as well as free coffee, thing for people. But for vets, it's pretty important just to come in here and just stop by, say hello.
The Creative Production Lab is a space for students to express themselves through artistic creation. whether they want to do something visual, such as using the 3D printer or laser cutter, or if they want to create an audio project in the Whisper Room. The options are endless within the Creative Production Lab.
This is the Omaha News.
According to the National Retail Federation, this Valentine's Day, American consumers are expected to spend $18.2 billion on gifts. And while gifts range anywhere from chocolate to jewelry, the Nebraska Humane Society advises the public to refrain from a particular gift: pets.
Valentine's Day is among the most popular holidays for gift exchanging in the United States. Consumers are constantly on the lookout for ways to surprise their loved ones. An increasingly popular yet controversial gift is a pet.
My boyfriend just told me, okay, be ready by 5, I'm gonna pick you up. I have a surprise for you.
Luisa Trujillo is a pet parent that got the surprise of a lifetime.
We drove over to the Humane Society, so when we got there, I'm like, what are we doing here? And he's like, we're getting a cat. And I'm like, we are?
Trujillo says the surprise could have ended badly due to lack of preparation.
You know, it's a big responsibility. It's like a child. They need care. You know, you have to take them to the vet every year. Your pet license, take them for shots. You know, all that is costly. So just making sure that, you know, the other person is okay, because otherwise, you know, that's why a lot of pets end up in the Humane Society again.
If you plan on purchasing a pet as a gift, the Humane Society suggests that you involve the other person in the adoption. This way, you can avoid future discrepancies.
The person that is going to be receiving the pet needs to know that they're getting it and needs to be able to be a part of that choice. We really want the person who's going to be receiving the pet to be able to ask questions, be prepared to have the pet, and to make sure that it will fit into their lifestyle.
With a couple more ideas on what to do for that someone special, we go to our newsroom desk where Gloria Espejel is standing by. Gloria?
Thanks, Alejandra. For the past 2 years, Valentine's Day has fallen on a weekend. This year, Valentine's Day falls on a Tuesday, which makes a big difference for local restaurants. I talked to a local restaurant manager about how they make special accommodations for a romantic night out. Pitch West manager Matt Wymore tells us how he and his staff prep for the weekday holiday.
We'll be running our normal dinner menu that night, but we'll also be running our Valentine's Day menu that we'll be offering for 5 different days. This will give people an opportunity to come in, and that way we can accommodate their holiday, even though their schedules may be a little tough.
The menu includes a couple different entrees and appetizers aside from the regular menu.
But what we always want to focus on is energy. Energy is so contagious. And anytime you have positive energy inside a restaurant, a lot of it comes from music. A lot of it comes from smiling. A lot of it comes from just your interactions with staff. But those nights, it's going to be so much fun because we're going to have good music on. We're going to have candles on the tables. We're going to have flowers available for anybody that wants to have those preset as a surprise or anything like that. But those are just things that we do just to make it so much more fun than a normal Tuesday night.
Pitch will even aid in any special detail for a Valentine's Day surprise.
So what I would do to either that gentleman or that lady, whichever is proposing that night, I would talk to them about some flowers, getting some flowers on the table. I would talk to them about our champagne features that night as well. I mean, being an engagement is such an important opportunity that you're going to remember that forever. I would have one of our managers actually over here filming the whole thing with their phone because we want to make sure that they actually remember it.
Dinner at the Henry Dorley Zoo this weekend. Yes, you heard that right. The zoo is hosting an adults-only dinner and discussion about dating and mating in the animal kingdom. The special event will take place inside the Suzanne and Walter Scott Aquarium on both Friday and Saturday, beginning at 6:30. The cost for the evening is $75, but you have to be 21 or older, as the program might include some explicit language and some more adult situations. For more information or to make a reservation, visit omahazoo.com. The movies are a popular choice for date night, and this Valentine's Day is sure to be no exception with the premiere of 50 Shades Darker. Omaha News reporter Colt Paulson has more on the movie's potential at the box office.
With Valentine's Day coming up, the movies will be a very popular place for couples, especially theaters that offer full dining services like Marcus Midtown Cinema. General Manager Tommy Hester says,
people want to have that dining experience, kind of a fine dining movie experience, especially for date night.
And with the new 50 Shades of Grey movie coming out, it will bring a lot more people into the movies.
Definitely romance is in the air, so 50 Shades Darker is probably going to be the #1 movie that people want to come see.
Derek Dillon, the creative manager at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema, another full-service theater, says,
advanced ticket sales for 50 Shades Darker is a lot higher than anything else we have right now.
50 Shades of Grey brought in over $94 million opening week and over $166 million in the U.S., as well as being the 6th R-rated movie to top $500 million. Dillon says the sequel is anticipated to bring in half that.
It's still going to do a lot of business, it's just not going to do as much as the first movie.
After watching the movie, are moviegoers going home or are they purchasing the products featured in the film? Well, I went to Lovers Luxury in Benson to find out.
So when people have seen the first movie, I have customers coming in wanting to try certain things that they've never tried before.
Aaron Metzler, the store manager of Lover Luxury, says the adult superstore carries 50 Shades of Grey's own line of toys.
I find that more people who are fans of the books and movies are turning to purchase those specific toys.
50 Shades Darker premieres in theaters Thursday, February 9th. For the Omaha News, I'm Cole Paulson.
Also opening this weekend and anticipated to compete for those date night top dollars is John Wick Chapter 2, A United Kingdom, Land of Mine, Kedai, and Havenhurst. Now back to Alejandra and Jared in the studio.
Coming up, board games are bouncing back.
That's right, and one Omaha nonprofit is dedicated to encouraging this trend.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You've always known you were a leader, someone who works hard to achieve your goals. You can see it. You can see your success in front of you. You pursue a college education for the old-fashioned reasons, to learn, to make yourself more valuable, to succeed. You need a place that celebrates your ambition and positions you alongside visionary people just like you. You, my friend, belong here, the University of Nebraska at Omaha.
UNO TV invites you to take a journey around the world, to lush jungles with endangered species, to exotic lands and different cultures, to lost cities beneath the sands. Travel through time to see ancient secrets on the other side of the world, the growth of the American West, or the start of Nebraska's largest city, or just explore our state. Find out about Nebraska in World War II. Learn how Omaha has grown since. Discover the effort to renovate its green spaces, the history of one of its most impressive buildings, or look at its internationally recognized university. For over 20 years, UNO TV has produced award-winning documentaries that explore, educate, and enlighten. To find out more, call 402-554-2516 or visit unotv.unomaha.edu.
If someone calls himself a gamer, you might assume that they like video games, but a new trend is changing the way many think of the term gamer. Omaha News reporter Zachary Padilla shows us why board games are surging in popularity.
Board games are popular again, which may come as a shock to many considering we live in a world that is obsessed with technology. However, a recent study showed that board game sales have risen dramatically over the past 4 years. With the increase in the interest of board games, Spielbound saw this opportunity and decided to create an entire cafe devoted to board games. Spielbound is a non-profit organization which hosts over 1,900 different board games in its library. Greg Harries, a Spielbound employee, says that the cafe has experienced a rise in visitors as well.
It seems like almost every weekend, especially during the winter time, we're busier and busier. Last Saturday, the last Saturday of January was our busiest day ever.
Harry says that the rise of board games may be an unexpected result from the rise of technology.
So board games are a way to get people to engage in a game together and socially.
But it's not just a rise of board game cafes like Spielbound. Many people, like Mark Straka, have created traditions around board games.
Turkey Day for us is the day before Thanksgiving, where me and all of my siblings get together and we have a bunch of snacks and energy drinks, and we stay up until 4 in the morning playing board games.
As the technology of today continues to advance, it looks like traditional board games will always be loved by many. For the Omaha News, I'm Zachary Padilla.
Located at 3229 Harney Street, Spielbound Board Game Cafe is a non-profit organization that strives to create community through board games.
That's our program for today. You can find additional stories on our website, theomahanews.wordpress.com. You can also follow the Omaha News on Facebook and Twitter at UNO The Omaha News.
For all of us at the Omaha News, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
The University of Nebraska at Omaha is a place for tomorrow's leaders, a place where individuals converge on a path to success, getting the attention and direction they need as they begin their career. It's where students take pride in serving Omaha, a city we've invested in for more than 100 years. UNO is a place where greatness begins. The University of Nebraska at Omaha.